Gervonta Tank Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford, highly respected trainer. Obviously, we know that bringing Tank from basically nowhere, basically being Tank's second father, or he's been that father figure for Tank. He was interviewed and he talked about what's next for Tank. He talked about, the talks about Terrence Crawford and how he didn't really mean that. Terrence Crawford was just he was joking, playing around, but they asked him a potential opponent for Tank, and Calvin Ford said that he wants Tank to fight Cruz, and I'm not mad at it. I understand that Tank didn't have his most convincing win because I guess we're so used to seeing Tank knock everybody out and put them to sleep, make them quit. We're used to seeing that from Tank, so I guess when you see Tank win a decision, still, a comfortable decision in my opinion. I thought he won that fight comfortably, even though he didn't knock him out. That people want to see knockouts, so by a lot of people's standards, that was his closest fight, so, but in their heads, they're saying this guy can beat Tank. I'm not saying it's out of the question. I just think that, me personally, I don't really care to see it. I've said it before. I like Cruz. I think he's talented, but in his last fight, he faced a guy not nearly as talented as Tank, not nearly as hard hitting as Tank, and he couldn't get him out of there. The guy, granted, his opponent had a good chin, but Cruz, there's just nothing too. I like watching him. He's entertaining, but there's nothing too special about him. He doesn't have anything that would make me concerned about, how Tank would fare against him in a rematch. I think it goes similar to the first fight, and Cruz would probably get stopped by Tank in this rematch if that's really the opponent that they want. I think that Cruz would get stopped by Tank, because Tank is gonna go in there and say, this is the guy that everyone wants me to fight. He's going to fight with an extra chip on his shoulder, and Tank already fights angry. And Calvin Ford has even said that he feels bad for the next guy that has to fight Tank, because Tank's gone through much. He's obviously gone through a lot in his personal life, and we always hear Tank talk about how you could notice in his style of fighting that it's his frustration coming out from everything he's been through, even as a kid. So he's going to unleash that on somebody, on his next opponent, and if that's Cruz, he may be in a lot of trouble. And I think that's what Calvin Ford is trying to say. I'm not mad at the fight. I'll watch it, but I don't know if it's a pay-per-view fight. Even how good Tank is, Cruz and Gervonta Davis, is that a pay-per-view fight? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that any Tank fight is going to be a pay-per-view fight. I'm just saying, is it gonna get the respect of people, watch in the boxing world, watching Tank and wanting to see him against the best? I don't know about that, because I think even Tank himself doesn't really want to fight Cruz. I think he really wants to fight Devin. I think he wants to fight Shakur. But I think that Tank's team is so focused on making a lot of money but minimizing the risk for Tank. And I think that he doesn't need that anymore. I think that people always talk about the Floyd protection program, where they always want to face him, put Tank in front of somebody who they know he's going to beat. So I understand that that's called matchmaking. That's what the promoters are supposed to do. They're not supposed to put someone in there who they think is a threat, like a major threat. But I think that Tank can handle anybody. They have to start putting him in there with the top guys. Even if he has to go to 140, so be it. Fight those guys. There's not much to do at 35 anymore. If you're not going to fight Loma, if you're not going to fight Shakur, what do? You're just going to fight Cruz? Do you wait for Frank Martin, Keyshawn Davis? I don't think those are realistic fights for Tank, to be honest with you guys. So if that's the case and he's just going to fight a guy like Cruz, I don't know how exciting that would be. I know Cruz is an exciting fighter, but I expect Tank to win that fight easily. What stoppage or not, I think Tank beats Cruz comfortably. I don't think he even really breaks a sweat. I don't think he takes any punishment against Cruz. I know he hits hard, but I think Tank's too good. He sees everything coming. His defense is really starting to come together and look even more elite than it has in the past. So that's the thing. I'd rather see Tank against a guy like Shakur. Obviously, we want to see him against the best. If you can make a Frank Martin fight, that's great too. 140, fight Keyshawn Davis at 35. I don't know. Fight Devin, Tiafimo. There's so many good fights for Tank. I don't get it. These fights are so hard to make in general. You want to get all those money fights. If Tank's team really believes in him, I know Tank believes in himself, but if his team really wants to see him grow and see him at his best, and they're going to make a lot of money surrounding him, why not put him against the top guys now? Why are we waiting so long for Tank to get in the ring with, you know, the best. I don't want to see it. Do you guys want to see Tank in there with Isak Cruz, or do you want to see him in there with Shakur? Like, those are the two main guys that are kind of struggling to find opponents, but Tank's team isn't expressing any struggle like that. No one wants to fight Tank because they'd rather see him fight Isak Cruz and beat him like in clear fashion. But I think we all know that he can do that already. I don't think there's anyone who's, you know, questioning Tank's ability to beat Isak Cruz. That's why I don't really care for the fight. I'll watch it, like I said before, but it's not exciting. It's not as exciting as, you know, Tank and Shakur, Tank and Frank Martin. That's a big fight at 35, and if they can make that happen, Tank, Keyshawn, like, I really want to see the Devin and Tank fight, but if you can't get that, you can't get Shakur and Tank, like, what are we doing? Like, it's going to come to a point where these guys just are going to make so much money where they're not going to want to fight each other. I understand marinating the fights and, you know, milking the promotion so that the longer it lasts, the more money you're going to make. But, like, you're running out of time here. These guys are going to 35, 40. Are you going to go to 40? Also stay at 35? Like, I think Tank should just make moves because I think he beats most of those people. You know, Shakur is the only really tough fight I see for Tank. Devin's also a tough fight, but I think Shakur is a tougher matchup. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Isak Cruz and Gervonta Davis, the rematch part 2. Are you guys interested? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Manabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.